In this video, I'm going to show you how to place the drag link on this Dodge Ram 2500. Let's get started. Loosen up the sleeve that holds the drag link onto this other tie rod that connects to the pitman arm. These take a 15mm socket to loosen up. You don't have to remove this or anything, you just have to loosen this up so the sleeve can expand so you can unthread this. Use a 21mm socket and remove the nut that holds the drag link on the lower tie rod here. The wheel is not on here, but you do not have to remove the wheel for this job. You have a few different options here to remove this drag link from the lower tie rod. You can use a pickle fork, you can tap it up with a hammer, you can use a ball joint separator. I have a hammer in my hand already, so I'm going to try and tap it up. If it doesn't work, I'll take the pickle fork to it. There you go. Most of the time it's not going to be super stuck. At this point, you should be able to pull it up. There we go. Make sure the clamps for the sleeve are loose enough. Mine are. And if your drag link is really stuck like mine is, you can stick a pry bar or a chisel in here, tap it down. That'll open up the sleeve and allow you to more easily get this out. There we go. At this point, I will spray it with some rust penetrant. That way it can creep in there and make it easier to remove. I'll leave my pry bar in there until I'm ready to put this back together. And now, while removing this, you want to count the amount of turns it takes to take it out so we can put it back the same amount so we can get really close to how the alignment was before. Of course, you still need an alignment after this, but this will get you close. If the whole sleeve spins, you're going to want to keep it in the same position. Otherwise, it will adjust the alignment on the tie rod end as well, or on the pitman arm side. You're trying to avoid that. You just want to change it here. This is also reverse threaded. Keep that in mind. So basically, you want to spin it clockwise to loosen it up. $26.5 is my number. Of course, yours is going to be different. At this point, let's clean this all up, lubricate it, and reinstall the new drag link. Clean it up inside, or replace the sleeve if yours is in that bad of condition. Spray some anti-seize inside so it doesn't seize up. Take your new drag link and install it the same amount of turns as it took to take it off. All right, that's it right there. I'm going to remove my pry bar. This should tighten this up a little bit, which it did. Bring your drag link over. If it doesn't line up, most likely either your tie rods and wheels moved or your steering wheel with the pitman arm and the gearbox turned. Line it up with this tie rod. Push it in whichever way it needs to go to properly line up. There we go. Slide it through. Let's put the nut on. Put your mounting nut on. This new one is going to be a 27mm socket, so snug it up. 40 foot-pounds plus 90 degrees is the torque for this. Now, once you have a good baseline of 40 foot-pounds, double check it if you want. 90 degrees is a quarter of a turn, so make sure you actually start off with 40 foot-pounds, otherwise it's going to not be torqued properly. Having said that, whether you have a digital torque wrench that reads degrees or not, if you just start about here, parallel with the drag link, it'll be easiest to estimate. Quarter turn. There we go right there. At this point, you do, however, need to make sure that the cotter pin slot lines up with the castle nut, so the hole in the stud should line up. Mine does not, and if yours doesn't either, you have to continue tightening to get it to line up, never loosen. Perfect, right there. Install the cotter pin, bend it over, tighten up the sleeve bolts. .45 foot-pounds is the torque for both of these, so make sure you don't over-tighten them when you snug them up.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.